Hi guys, welcome back to another e-commerce marketing chat with myself and Jimmy. How's it going, Jimmy?
Yeah, good. It's good to be back again. I've had a busy week, so it's nice to just sit down at the end of the day and talk all things e-com.
Nice, nice. Yeah, no, I've been delving into a few things today, client work today. So yeah, I've got few things that I can share as well.
Awesome. I think
What's been happening in your world anyway? What's everything good?
yeah,
What's
my little boy started kinder this week, so that's
oh,
been
nice, nice.
yeah, that's been an interesting experience. Good, but yeah, keeping me on my toes too. But on the e-com side, I think I actually saw you posted in the group, and for those that are trying to find the group, we have changed the name of it now, so it's Shopify Marketing Secrets. So if you're looking for the group now and you've watched previous episodes, just go check it out there. But yeah, I saw you talking about content, which I don't know, like you were discussing, whether there's a place for blogs in e-commerce or not. It's probably, I don't know, I'm kind of two ways about it. So I definitely think that there is a place for blogs in e-commerce. I don't think, I think the space where blogs are dying are niche sites.
Hmm.
But with the e-commerce sites, they've already got that authority a bit, so it's just like if you can pick up free traffic, just do it. And I was kind of reminded of that when I was looking at an old site that I set up probably over 10 years ago, or just one of my friends. It was just a product comparison site that we were messing around with. Anyway, when I was having a look in the Google Search Console the other day, the site's getting like 3,500 visits a month. I'm like, what the hell? So yeah, I mean, definitely don't. And I read the articles, and they're absolutely like they're so short and they're trash. I'm like, oh my gosh! And like there was really good time on site as well. So I was like, these are just neglected, and it's just it's been a reoccurring theme that's been popping up in my life this week about compounding interest. I've just I've just done this week. I've just started running for like the first time in 6 or 7 months since ripping all the ligaments in my ankle. And first run was horrible, and the second run was just as horrible, but it was slightly better than the one before. And then the third run was just as horrible, but slightly better than the one before. And then tonight was my fourth run for the month. So I've set myself a goal of doing like 5K every day for just the next 30 days. And yeah, tonight it hurt just as much, and I still can't run the whole thing. There were still periods of walking, but run one, it was like at 40 minutes, which is disgusting. But tonight it was at 35 minutes. So just showing me like if you show up every day and you do something little every day, like it just compounds over time, and it gets better and better. It's the same with content. Just don't hesitate on just write your thoughts out on a topic and put it in a blog and just have it sitting there. And then come back in 6 months and see which ones are generating traffic. And if they're not generating traffic, then you haven't lost anything. And if they are generating traffic, then see what you can do to improve it to, get more of that traffic coming through. So I'm actually big on putting content out there for e-com sites. I do think the blogs are dead from like a niche site perspective. Well, not dead, but the effectiveness of them has decreased dramatically. And there's some big players in the space that were teaching the exact niche site kind of framework, and they've closed down the course because they don't believe in the framework themselves anymore, which says everything you need to know about niche site specific kind of blog articles. But yeah, for e-commerce, I would say punch as many out as you can.
Yeah, I'm not sure I fully agree with that, but
It's
I
good to
would.
have contrast because we agree on a lot. But yeah, I read
Yeah.
that this morning. I was like, oh, I kind of agree, but like I kind of would. I know for one of my clients at the moment, we're like getting ready to just punch out as many as we can and then use them. So it's two prong as well. So for email marketing, we're looking at informational type emails, but we don't want to write a whole like thesis in a email. So it's like a really short, for example, like this is a supplement company, so 10 ways creatine is amazing for you, something like that. And we might give five, and then it links off to the article that we've put together on the website. So, and that's just another blog article. But I think the real money makers are the article types that you were talking about, Charles, and I'll let you talk about them because I think you're really about to dive into them a lot deeper with the kind of advertorial type articles. So yeah, if like you can take my strategy, like just punch out as many blogs as you can and then tailor it with higher quality content, which Charles can just run you through now.
Yeah, I mean, look, I don't think that e-commerce blogs are, completely a waste of time. Like even just this morning, I'm going through one of my clients' sites and they've got a blog. We've been publishing content on there. And what I'm working with them on at the moment is just improving the user experience. Because sometimes the actual content, the written content is good. It's just presented in such a shoddy way that no one's going to actually read it. So what we're doing is we're looking at the main blog section and we're creating these almost buttons above the blogs on the main blog so that you can basically filter based on different topics. One of the other things that I'm kind of looking into is they've got a huge YouTube channel and the founder is constantly putting out new videos. So I thought, well, why don't we just use AI to convert those videos into blogs and then include the videos as blogs as well? So you have the video and then underneath it, it's an AI blog. So I'm kind of experimenting with that. Obviously, there may be a few tweaks and we have to see on the quality, but it just allows us to create more content and different types of content and turn it from not just a blog, but more like a content hub. So that it's a real kind of resource and it's not just standard blog posts that are just being punched out. So I do think that blogs are still valuable in driving kind of top of the funnel traffic. It's just, I still question how well they actually convert to sales. Obviously, I know they're building more brand awareness and you're building more authority around your brand, especially if you're talking about the products and the industry that you're selling in, and you become that authority within that niche. I think that's powerful, and then that's a knock-on effect in terms of the improvements in your rankings for your collection and product pages. So it kind of helps the whole site and gives that a boost in ranking. Cut a long story short, I don't think that blogs are completely dead, but I do think there needs to be a little bit more strategy to it rather than let's just kind of pump out a lot of content without anything behind it. And
I'll run a test.
Yeah.
I know
Maybe you might be right.
Don't have the you probably don't have the red tape allowance to just be able to punch out a whole bunch of random blog articles. But on some of my clients, I kind of do have that authority, so I just punch out, let's say, 50 blogs over the next 2 months, and we can revisit in 6 months and see kind of how much traffic it's generating. I think for me, though, in saying that as well, Charles, you did talk about kind of the quality of the blog. I'm planning to use an app which allows me to insert products that we're talking about in all the blogs. So there is a little bit of, I guess, interactiveness there from like the products that we sell and what we're talking about there too. But yeah, I think it is important what you said, making sure it's high quality. The thing with driving sales too, one thing that you want to consider is like even me, like I look at the Google Analytics and I see kind of how much revenue blog pages are bringing in. What the Google Analytics doesn't tell me is, hey, from this blog post, this person like signed up to a push notification or they saw the welcome email and they actually signed up to the welcome email from that page. Google Analytics will tell me the welcome email signups actually, but the revenue might not necessarily be attributed just to that page itself. I think when you're driving a lot of traffic, if you've got a good pop-up, it should convert at around 6%. So even if you get like 100 people to read one of your blog articles, 6 of those should sign up to your list. Yeah. And then if they're, especially in the supplement space, if they're reading an article about the effectiveness of supplements or how it can help, like generally it's a warmer type person coming through to your site rather than if you're selling something in e-commerce and say you're like a tent or a a tent company or a power generator, you know, those portable generators, say you're them, and the blog article is, you know, the 10 best camping spots in Australia. Like, it's a lot less relevant, and people are going to go there to find out places to go, not necessarily to learn about products. So when you're writing the articles, you kind of want to tailor them a bit to what article you want to push them towards as well, or inform them more about. And if they are looking to find out more about a particular product, um, then have options for them to explore your options that you actually sell on that product.
Yeah. No, that's a good point. That's a good point. So out of curiosity then, are you looking at using, I guess if you're looking to potentially pump out, you know, a number of volume, are you looking to use AI
100%.
entirely? Yeah, yeah.
So this is the process. So we'll do the drafts in AI, and then we'll get the founders to read over them and edit them because they're actually like naturopaths, like specialists in that kind of industry, and then they'll tailor it and tinker it and change a few things up. So it's basically an AI skeleton and then humanly edited and then pushed straight back to Shopify. So we're two-prong. We want additional traffic, and two, we want to send more informational type emails because we send a lot of sales type emails. So we want to mix up that dynamic a little bit.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, I mean, look, because probably about a year ago, maybe even longer than that, you know, when AI content really started to take off, you know, there was many SEOs out there that jumped on the bandwagon and really were running all these types of experiments. And there has been a number of Google updates since that, which some have been kind of negatively impacted. However, Google keeps changing their stance on, you know, do they like AI content? Don't they? And it's still a little bit unclear. I think, yeah, the only way you could truly know is to test it and see. It's certainly, yeah. And sometimes, yeah, 70% good is better than, you know, 0% perfect. It's like you've got to get something out there and test it and see how it performs, I guess. But
Yeah, and I'm not saying just like cut and paste an article straight from AI either. Definitely add your touch to it, the brand voice. Just see what AI has written, and then if you like it, just copy that paragraph and rewrite it in your own words, and then send that out if you're worried about kind of AI being pinned by Google at some point. I don't know. I think this particular client that I'm thinking of, like, they don't have like a massive organic presence anyway. A lot of their sales are driven from Google Ads, which we're managing. So, like, if anything dropped off on the organic side, it's not much of a risk. Whereas you've got a brand, and if they're driving significant revenue from organic, that's where the risk you might not take my approach of just
yeah, that's
punching
kind
out
of
as
my
many articles as you can.
yeah, that's kind of my concern. And yeah, it's a fine line. I think also with the approach of using AI and then getting the founder to make edits. I think knowing a couple of my clients, I could be waiting a long time to receive those edits, and it's how efficient the client is at being able to get, you know, look through those. I have also experimented in the past with getting like a writer or writing editor to effectively use AI. Often there was still a little bit of a pushback, and this was maybe over a year ago, so it was still coming out, and then maybe there was a little bit of resistance to conform to this new technology. So they were like, oh, the results are not as good as if I just write it by scratch.
The thing is, you got to think. So how I look at it too is you got to think about your own usage. So a year ago, I wasn't really going to AI to ask some elaborate questions. Now I am, and I'm like sitting there reading the whole answer, and I'm like, oh, that was really good. That was really informative. If I'm thinking that about AI generated content, if someone's reading that on the site, they're probably going to have a similar experience if they had the same question as me. Like if I read it and it answered everything that I wanted in a manner that I thought was good, I'm not sure, like, other than Google wanting to, flag AI content, I can't see how that's not beneficial. Like, I just read that. It was really informative. It was the information I was looking for. Like, how is that not beneficial to the end user? Like, whether it's AI or not.
No, it's true. I mean, actually, I have started a newsletter this year, and I basically take a post. I write on Facebook during the week, and I take a post from Facebook, and I've trained AI to effectively create me a newsletter from that
Yeah,
Facebook post. So I'm taking my content that I'd already written anyway, and it's creating it in a newsletter format. And I'm just making sure that it keeps the same tone of voice, so it still feels like it's not. There's still some consistency with the reader thinking, okay, it's written by Charles rather than it's written by AI. So I can completely see the benefits of it. I think it's just making sure that the quality is there. And I do think it's improved a lot. You're right, Jimmy. I mean, and I'm using AI a lot more this year than I was probably even 6 months ago.
Me too. And mainly because the quality of the answers improved out of sight and what you can do with it now. I'm actually, like, it's an area that I'm interested in. Honestly, anyone in the digital space should be interested in it in some capacity because it's going to change a lot no matter what industry you're in. I'm taking a course mid-February by Mike Rhodes, the Google Ads OG. I doubt Mike will ever hear this, but Mike, if you're listening, you're an absolute legend. But he's running a course mid-February basically on AI agents, how to integrate them into business, like creating your own little software, little things like that. So it'll be a great stepping stone for me to learn what's happening out there because Mike's amazing at what he does and he's gone really deep into this and his content's always amazing. If anyone else is interested in jumping in on that, I'm not sure if he's still got spaces, but the website was agent.com, so I'll be in there. But yeah, it's a really interesting topic, and this wave that's coming, I want to put my toes in the water. I want to see what's out there, how other people are using it. And just another content creator that, if you are interested in AI, which I follow on Instagram and Facebook, he's called the AI Surfer. And he kind of highlights a different AI tool every single day. And he's great at what he does. And the actual him in the videos is an AI image, and the voiceover is done by AI too. So he kind of lives what he lives what he's teaching. The image is of him, so it looks like him just chatting. But the AI Surfer on Facebook. If you guys want to kind of just see what's out there in terms of what AI apps are coming out and what you can do with them, it's a really good resource too.
Nice. Yeah, I'm going to check that out. Actually, I think you mentioned that in another chat that we had, and yeah. I mean, I was literally just looking at a couple this morning. I told you about one with this bolt.new where you can create any kind of software just from a few prompts and zero coding skills, and created like a Shopify SEO tool within literally 10 minutes, which it just blew my mind. I was just like, this is... If someone like me, who's literally a complete pleb and zero
illiterate,
zero coding skills, can create something like that, I mean, yeah, it just shows where we're going. And the other one that I was using this morning was, I'm just looking now, video2blog.ai. So it converts your YouTube videos into a blog. Again, I looked at it, really good. I was just testing it out for one of my clients. So I'd recommend. I'll put those in the show notes, but those are a couple that I've been experimenting with. But there's just so many out there, isn't there?
Yeah, I know, but that's also the hard thing because people get overwhelmed. They're like, where do I start? When, like, I know AI is the thing, but there's just so many programs out there, and this one's better than this one, and this one's slightly better than this one. That's the hard thing. It's just like knowing where to start. I think the place that you want to start is firstly analyzing what you're doing and what's taking up your time, and seeing whether AI can actually do that for you. And if you want to record your time, I think it's called mem time. Basically, you don't have to push stop or start on a timer. It is a paid app though, so I think it's $16 a month or something like that. But it gives you kind of a rundown of every tab that you've been on during the day, like how much time you've spent on each thing. So it's kind of, especially if you're a task hopper like me, like I'm really bad for that. I'm working on it though. It highlights that massively. I'll be working on one thing for 3 minutes and another thing for 3 minutes, and then go back to watch this YouTube video and, oh, I've got to work on this again. And then I realized I went to this tab with the intention of working on this one thing, and then I'd done 10 other things before I'm like, oh yeah, that's right, I was going to this tab to do this. So,
Yeah.
I'm working on the focus work, and I think it's important. And I honestly think the running that I'm doing just over the last couple of days has helped that a lot. Because when you're running, you don't have and you've set yourself a target for running for X amount of time, your mind starts going everywhere, but you can't do anything else but keep running.
Yeah.
And it's almost like training that discipline. Yeah, start with AI, with finding something that's taking you a long time and seeing what solution is out there that can speed it up for you, basically.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I think, yeah, documenting a list of tasks that one you don't want to do as well. Try and find things that are mundane that you're like, oh, I keep having to do this every week, but I don't want to do it. See if you can get AI to help do it for you. Yeah, I think that's a good start. And actually, a lot of, you know, they're all pretty good. Like whether you're using ChatGPT, Perplexity, Claude, there's certain ones that are better for certain things. I think. Like I find Claude is better for creating content based on what you input it, whether it's some written content that you've created initially, and then it will give you content based on your tone of voice. Whereas ChatGPT, it feels a bit robotic in terms of the content. But again, it's how you, it's what you input into these things. It's the prompts that you give it. You have to be more detailed, and you have to experiment and learn how to get the best responses from these tools.
Yeah, definitely. And I think the more you work with them, the more you'll find other uses for them as well. So yeah, the hardest thing with everything can just be getting started. But yeah, if anyone's out there and is keen to do a test on like punching out a whole bunch of articles as well, definitely let us know, and yeah, we can share the results. I won't share the exact client that I'm testing it on, but I can let you know kind of what kind of traffic numbers it drove in, and any potential additional revenue, or how the email list grew. But yeah, don't write off content yet. I think there's especially in the e-commerce space specifically, I'm talking about. If you're running a niche site, write off content. Yeah, like do something else. Go use AI and build a software. But yeah, niche sites is not the arena that you want to be playing in at the moment, unless you've got, actually, I'm not even going to put a but in there. Just don't waste your time if you're starting on niche sites at the moment from scratch.
Yeah, I think niche sites and SaaS are going to be the two industries that are going to be hit heavy because of.
I think SaaS in a different way though, because I think SaaS, there'll be a lot more products out there, but whereas the existing SaaS products, they're going to have to become more price competitive, because people are going to be able to build that exact SaaS with AI very shortly. Unless they're price competitive, there's going to be a lot more competition in that space over the next year or two. Massively, and the competition levels in that space are going to increase dramatically, which is good if you're running an e-commerce store, because it just means all the apps that you're using should eventually come down in price. Although Klaviyo, the email marketing platform, had just announced this week that they're going to be raising their prices. So take what I say with kind of grain of salt.
Yeah, well, I've got qualms with SEM Rush. Like, I'm paying $167 a month, and I'm kind of questioning, like, what am I paying for? Yes, it is a good tool, but when you look at what else is on the market, and yeah, those are the perfect example of a company that I think are going to struggle moving forward if they don't become more price sensitive, because
I think
there's
so
just
too.
going to be more free tools out there, and tools that are of a lower
And
price
they're
point
like,
that
we
are
had a
just as good.
conversation earlier today with someone, Charles, and they were using a SaaS. There was one aspect of it they didn't like, and they're just like, okay, well, I'm not going to use this anymore. I'm just going to build my own.
Yeah, yeah,
And that'll become more and more of the norm. And when you were talking about that SEO tool, like before, you would have had to hire a developer to build anything remotely like that. Now you can put it up in the space of 5 minutes. It's crazy.
I know, it's mad. It's mad. Yeah, I think you're right, which is good. But I think to round this conversation, this specific conversation all up, I think it's only a positive for e-commerce. I think people are always going to need or want to buy products, and I think it will be a market that's only going to continue to boom. It's just how you market is going to evolve over time. I think that's all.
Yeah, I mean, what I do at the moment is definitely going to change. The Google Ads for clients. The service industry will change a lot because, especially if you run an agency, because a lot of the stuff that your juniors that you're hiring to do will be able to be done for free. Well, for $20 a month by an AI agent. Um, you're going to see 2025. You're going to see a lot more agencies leaning out. So they're going to become a lot leaner. Their profits will potentially become higher, which may result in more competitive prices for end users. But I'm not sure the big players will reduce their prices. I think you'll have other players coming in realizing that the profit margin is increased so significantly that, hey, we're going to undercut these bigger players with a service that's just as good at a more accessible price. So yeah, I think there's definitely a big shift. I'm all for it. I can't wait. Like, I'm excited about it. A lot of people are scared. They're like, oh, I'm not going to be able to do what I've done for the last 10 years because it's all changing. I was like, it's almost like adapt or die. That's
Yeah.
that's
Yeah, no, exactly. There's no point kind of burying your head in the sand and thinking it's going to go away. The genie's out the box. AI is not going anywhere.
well,
Yeah, yeah. But I think you're right. I think for lean operations like yours and mine, I think, yeah, it's only going to be a good thing. I think really it's going to get rid of these kind of large, bulky agencies that they have, multiple different account managers. And actually a lot of it's, let's be honest with you, Jim, a lot of it's fluff. They're charging clients an extortionate amount of money just for small little details, fancy presentations and things that don't really matter. So I think a lot of that is going to shift. And I think you're right, the lean, probably, almost the one-man agency. It's going to be the rise of the one-man agency using AI to effectively deliver service at scale.
yeah, well, one of our mutual friends, Charles Nick, he's actually kind of building a coaching around kind of the lean agency model, and he's basically built a one-man agency. He hasn't integrated AI yet, so he kind of talks about the system. He's going to be talking about the systems and the lifestyle that he's built to be able to do what he does. But I think he's going to be jumping in that course with me that I mentioned earlier around the AI agents. He's like me. He's curious. He wants to learn more. We've both got kids now, so we want to optimize our time as much as possible to spend as much time with our family while still delivering clients exceptional results. I think that's sometimes the thing that's lost. Everyone wants to save time and do less, but the crux of it is, if you want to stay in business for a long time, you still have to get your clients exceptional results with whatever method you use to streamline your time. The most important thing is, hey, are my clients still getting the results that they expect from my agency? If yes, great. If no, what can I do to improve that? That's always got to be in the back of your mind, because you can optimize your whole agency, but then if you can have AI running the whole thing, but then all of a sudden if none of your clients are getting any results, that agency is not going to be around for very long.
No, exactly. Well, yeah, client results is number one, because that's what is going to keep you in business, and it's a lot easier to get referrals and build on from there. But yeah, everything's going to be changing. It's an evolving industry, whether you're on the client, side or agency side, building an e-com store.
With I'll touch on the AI again, just because I've been experimenting with it this week as well. But what you'll find now is some of the best people in the world at a chosen digital marketing skill are actually building their own ChatGPT agents and then just giving them to clients and customers to use. So when you're For example, I was playing around with an email marketing one today just to see, and like the results that it spat out was good. So this guy that created it basically fed it hundreds of their YouTube videos, hundreds of like their internal documentations and how they do everything, and fed all this information to this ChatGPT agent. And then you can just come in, use that agent that they've already pre-trained and just say, hey, this is the client, this is the type of the customer, this is the tone of the copy that we're looking for. Write me an email based around this, or give me 10 examples of good campaign emails for this industry. And what it spat out was phenomenal. I'm like, yeah, the creative thinker, the copywriter, the good ones will still be around, but unless you're at that elite level, I think you can kiss your copywriting job goodbye.
Yeah. No, you're right. You're right. The unless you are the very best, I think if you're a copywriter that has a proven track record of creating persuasive copy that actually converts to an ROI for your clients, you'll be okay. But for just the standard copywriter that's just punching out blog content, email newsletters, yeah, you're going to struggle.
The way I look at it is like the guys at the top of copywriting will always argue, oh, there'll always be, a need for, elite level copywriters, and there might very well be, but like that middle market, like I'm not hiring copywriters anymore because I can just get 20 different examples in the space of 10 seconds and choose the one and alter the one that I like, especially for short form copy, which is primarily what I deal with. So, Google Ads, which is extremely short form, like 30 characters for a headline, 90 characters for a description. And email marketing, for e-commerce, you want to keep that as short as possible too. So I'm not in the realm of long form copy. Short form copy, I would prefer to have something spit me out 50 examples of what I'm looking for and me go through and be, oh yeah, that's the one I'm looking for, than to work with a copywriter. Then
I think you're right.
Get 50 examples back in, a week or 2 weeks.
Yeah. I mean, I used ChatGPT when I was doing these push notification experiment for one of my clients last year, and great. Like literally just a few prompts, was able over time to make the improvements, and yeah, it was completely generated from AI. I tweaked it a little bit, but it was pretty much ready to go out, and that converted pretty damn well. So
there's not when people say, oh, you've always got to tweak AI, when AI's spitting out like 3 words for like the character limit of 30, like how much can you alter that? You either like it or you don't. I mean, there's 3 words. Like a 30 character limit, you can fit maybe 3 to 5 words in this. Yeah, like people are always like, oh, it still needs human assistance. Not when you're writing short form. You either like it or you don't.
Yeah. And if you don't, you just ask it for more suggestions.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
so you're like, oh, no, none of these are really the vibe I'm going for. And then you just explain to it more about what you're actually looking for. And then it gives a whole bunch of other examples. And you're like, yep, that's the one. So, yeah. And like you said, if it's short form, super short form, it's like, you don't need to touch it. It's done. You just need to pick the right one. So that's what I would say about AI with the short form. Don't just use the first example it gives you. Like, make sure you've had a good read of a whole bunch of examples and find the perfect one.
Yeah, no, I think I find it great for kind of writing website headlines as well, sub-headlines. I think where it's, like I said, we go back to kind of the blogs, I think is getting better at that longer form content, but that's where you probably need to do a little bit more editing or throughout versus the short form stuff, which is pretty much ready to go.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Anything else you've been working on?
Well, let's move on from content and AI stuff. What else am I working on? I think I've spoken about this before, but I'm just testing a lot of apps, and even the simplest apps that you can install on Shopify. And when someone jumps off the tab that your store's on, the tab starts flashing in their browser that basically says "come back." So just like little attention things like that. So just I'm just experimenting with a whole range and suite of apps for our clients that will help. If you haven't listened to previous episodes, other apps that we've discussed have been like Toll Story, which is kind of app where you can put videos and display them under products, and it just if you're using a lot of user generated content, then an app like that would be great. There's also an app to turn your store into basically a phone app as well. I actually forgot the name of that app. I'd have to look it up again. But
Yeah, you did mention that. I can't remember it now.
yeah, just
That was
if that's something that interests you, just go into the Facebook group because I'll find it and let you know what it's called. Basically, yeah, if you are looking to capture your audience somewhere else as well, that's why I think that's great because you don't just have your website anymore. If you can get them on an app too, it's like another platform that you've captured your audience somewhere else. Yeah, actually this week I had I got a bit of a surprise. Some in one of my clients' stores that I work on, like quite thoroughly. A name popped up from a purchase, and very big time entrepreneur in Australia, net worth over 500 million, easy, and like someone that I kind of look up to a lot. So when I saw that come through, it was just like it was like a really cool moment because we've built the website, we've built the traffic, and then you've got multi like hundreds of millions of dollars people coming in and like purchasing from your site. Like it's a surreal little it was cool. So but then it also it gets you thinking, oh, like are the emails dialed in, like they haven't subscribed to email marketing, make sure 100% that they're not in those email marketing lists. And when you just want to clean things up as much as possible for every client. But when you've got like a client at the level that you just respect so much, or not even a client, sorry, a customer, at a level that you respect that much, you're like, oh, I just want to put my absolute best foot forward, even more so than you're already doing. Yeah, no, cool little win this week.
Did he spend much?
No, he just bought one supplement, obviously, that he wanted. So, I mean, it wasn't a cheap supplement. I think it was about $100. So, but yeah, I told the owner, I was like, oh, send this guy some like a shaker and some free samples, and just thank him for shopping at your store. So,
yeah, it's a good idea.
But yeah, no, it's just random. Like I don't check the order list very often, but just happened to be that day I went and checked the order list. I saw the name and I was like, wait a minute. And then I opened it up. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's him. Fun little moment this week. I think the other things that I'm working on a lot this week have just been kind of the email marketing side as well. I want to add that to our service offering, hopefully in March. Thought it'd be February, but we're still ironing out a few things, and we're still working on the case study client as well. And we've had this case study client for a while, but we're like revamping the whole system, how it's all done. Yeah, I want to be able to show kind of that hockey stick of growth once we've implemented all the new things that we're implementing. But yeah. And the other thing that I've been playing in a lot this week, don't ask me why, just Search Console. Like, it's so underrated. Like, and there's just so many people that don't use it. And if you have never looked into your Search Console, do it. Like, just go in there and see how people are finding you, what pages they're looking at organically, what products they're finding organically, and if they are finding them organically, and we're using that data to put different products featured on the homepage based on like the search volume and the click volume that's coming through from those, because it's almost more important for organic, because for the paid search, like all of them are going through shopping ads, so they're not going to the homepage, they're going straight to the product page from kind of those ads. Organic, they could potentially end up on the homepage or potentially end up on the product page. So just there's so much in there. Like if you spent the day just looking through that, you would get 20 ideas easily of how you could improve your business. Before I will just say this is for people that have probably at least a year of data in there. Like if you've just started your store
Yeah.
and you're just getting off the ground, there's going to be nothing useful in there for you for probably the first 6 months. If you have just started and you're looking at it like a month later, probably the only thing you'll see in there is your brand name.
Yeah.
But yeah, like massively underutilized tool. And I'm sure Charles will end up building some AI software that can help us extract additional data from there and how we can use it and next steps based on Google Search Console data.
Yeah, well, there is actually. I came across, and I still use it. I can't remember the guy who's created it. He basically created like like a template using Google Data Studio. So it's like it extracts the data from Google Search Console and creates a nice visual for different data points. I'll try and dig it out and I'll put it in the video, the show notes as well.
Yeah,
But that's really useful.
Got in the Facebook group too, because I'm actually keen
if
to
I
see
can
it
find
myself.
Yeah. So there's a lot out there even already, and I found that really useful just to kind of analyze data and even to show clients sometimes visuals of how their site is performing from an organic traffic perspective. Yeah, no, Google Search Console is we've talked about it many times, haven't we? It's very underrated, especially when it comes to you know, seeing opportunity areas, finding out that, oh, I'm ranking for this keyword. I didn't realize I was ranking for that keyword. And that's driving X amount of traffic and having an impact on our sales. There's so many different things that you can discover when you delve in.
I do the same thing. So sometimes I'll see like an uptick in a particular product that is being sold. I'm like, where's this coming from? Because I'm not driving it from ads. And then I'll check the Search Console and the organic search for that particular product name has just like gone through the roof. And it may be that the store owner has just got in a new product and a couple of months later they've started ranking organically for that keyword, and because not many suppliers have that particular supplement, like the search volume just goes up crazily for it. I showed you a screenshot of that client's kind of organic search console, Charles, just on Discord this week, and it's starting to go like this, like the hockey stick that everyone wants.
Yeah, it looks good.
But yeah, a lot of that's from like good products, and we haven't done the blogs yet, but what we have done is created collections based around trending topics, and that's bringing in a lot of volume, which is why, like, off that, and it's like, I don't know, 200 word kind of description of the collection. That's why I'm kind of like a bit bullish on just punching out as much content as you can, because I've kind of just seen how a tiny little bit of content on a collection page can drive in like a whole bunch of traffic as well.
Yeah, that's a good idea actually. The collection, the creating collections around trending topics. That's something that I'd like to experiment with some of my clients.
Also,
it'd be interesting to see how that compares to blogs as well.
This is a little golden nugget for anyone that's listening. So if you've made it this far, you can have it. Creating collection pages around influencers in your area and the products that they recommend if you stock them, especially if you're a large store retailer. Like, just say, for example, I don't know, let's say you're a motorbikes parts company and someone in like the Harley Davidson world or something like that recommends like all these different accessories or parts for their bike. And if they were well known in the niche, you'd take that person's name and be like, you know, products that this person recommends throughout publicly accessible information. So, and then, yeah, because if people's watching the video and they're like a big name in the space, people will be searching them, and then your collection shows up like products that so and so has recommended, and then like we've been able to generate a lot of traffic for that from particular clients that kind of approach would suit. Obviously, if you don't have a lot, I typically work with companies that have over 100 SKUs, so it's a lot more relevant. Like if you're working, or if you've only, let's say you're a teeth whitening company and you only have like 3 products, it's going to be much less impactful unless you've got a massive kind of influencer that's raving about your product, and people would be searching like, how is such and such teeth so white? But yeah, like use that's another good one too. So yeah, collections around trending topics and collections around influencers in your space that actually recommend products that you have. I mean, it would work for you, Charles, especially you just mentioned before your client is a massive on YouTube, so you could leverage their name and be like the top products recommended by such and such, and then just put all his favorite products on like one collection page. You should check the search volume just on his actual name and then see if it's there. And even if it's not, it might just be worth because the thing is, if someone is searching his name, you know that they're probably so far down the funnel, if they do know his name, that they're probably the most likely to convert on that page. So it might be worth testing. They're all from you. Just refresh. No, but they're like there's some great little things. Like I'm trying to give some other examples too. Like just say you're in the toy space and you've got a whole bunch of range of toys, or I'm thinking like 3D printed products, that kind of thing, like products for kids. You can find like a mum or dad kind of influencer that just talks about toys, see which toys that they're recommending, and if you have toys like that, then you can just take their name and like, this person recommends these toys like in their videos, and we've got them. So, yeah, there's a big opportunity there to kind of be creative and experiment. Definitely. Yeah. But yeah, no, I think this podcast has been primarily content and AI, which is fine. I enjoy those. I enjoy Charles's takes, especially on the content, and I like that we have different opinions on things too.